the grade and the grade rate so that we can allocate the salary to the employees. So I will just take you through all the steps which are required in core HR also. Then after this one, we will have individual compensation. That is one main thing. Individual compensation is part of compensation itself, compensation management. That is like giving spot bonus to an individual employee. And whenever, if a manager is happy with an individual employee, he can directly give a spot bonus whenever it is required. Third part will be the major, next part will be the major one, which is known as workforce compensation. That is the main aspect in compensation management. There we have multiple things like allocating budgets. After allocating budgets, then we allocate the compensation to the employees. That is a vast thing, so that we will keep it for next weekend, for Saturday and also for Sunday.
Okay.
Okay. Mostly on Saturday, I will brief you about the full, compensation steps, what are to be done for each for workforce compensation. That is the next day. We can have an activity, and also I will finish up with total compensation statement.
Okay.
Which is nothing but it is similar to this salary statement, but it is not a salary statement actually, but it will cover all the the compensation which is allocated to an employee, what are the things which are available. So those things will be covered in the total compensation statement. So today what I will do is I will just take you through the core HR aspects and also the elements, salary basis. And also, if possible, I will cover the, I won't be able to cover the individual compensation today, it will be only tomorrow. So maximum these things, these three topics I will try to cover today.
Sure. Question.
Yeah, please.
This PowerPoint or?
Main description of the activity will be the workforce compensation. Okay. This one you can create as and when I tell you, you can directly create with your name. So, you're able to see my screen, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So as I told you, we will cover these are the topics which will be covered in overall session on compensation management. It will be compensation management overview, base pay and individual compensation, workforce compensation, and how to configure workforce compensation, and then finally it is total compensation statement. Today we will mostly cover introduction to compensation management, different compensation rules. That I will take it up tomorrow because that is mainly required for individual compensation and workforce compensation.
Okay.
And different compensation eligibilities I will create and different elements. So those are the things. Even the eligibility we will try it tomorrow when we do the individual compensation.
Sure.
Okay. What is compensation management? It is like it is mainly used by the organization to attract, motivate, and retain the talent. And the compensation management process allows organizations to strategically plan, allocate, and communicate compensation. So there are two aspects. One is to allocate the compensation to the employee so that we can motivate the employees. And second part is communicate the compensation aspect to the employees. So those are the two parts which are covered in compensation management. This is a general term which I am talking about compensation management. It is not related to fusion. And examples of this compensation are like spot bonuses, incentives, merit bonus, etc. And how about fusion? How does it look? See, this is the entire Oracle Fusion HCM suite, where we have the first block as workforce deployment, where we cover the core HR, and also payroll comes under workforce deployment. Second, under workforce development, which we have already seen, talent review, performance, goal management, everything comes under workforce development. Whereas in compensation management of Fusion covers compensation, incentive compensation, and benefits. The aspect which you will be learning is only compensation. Benefits is a separate module, though it comes under compensation management. It is a completely different module.
Okay.
And next is incentive compensation. This is not part of HCM. It is part of CRM.
Yeah.
But I am not sure why it is coming under compensation management in HCM. Because mostly it is, since it has the term compensation management, it comes under the compensation management modules, whereas this incentive compensation is mostly used by the sales team. So it is under CRM. So
Yeah.
the only thing
My
which will
wife
be
is a consultant, so she was talking to me about it the other day.
okay. She's in which product?
Oracle EBS, and she also does CBIL.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, possible it is, it is related to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the things which come under Oracle Fusion and CMC. If you see again, which I told you last time, we have fast formulas which will be used in all the modules. That is the reason this block is common for all the things. HCM common architecture. This is the common architecture which I told you when we have the talent management module. That particular configuration is common for all the modules. If a company is taking compensation management alone, even then they have to configure certain steps for core HR. So that is the reason we have HCM common architecture here. Then again, profile management, it is equal for everyone, every module, because it will be used in workforce deployment, even in workforce development, also for compensation management, wherever it is required. Again, this is the part which covers all the compensation module, where we see the managed base pay, individual compensation, there is personal contribution also, like for example, giving any donation or anything like that. An employee can go and use a particular place where he can contribute his own money for any charity or anything. That is the reason we have the personal contribution here. Then we have workforce compensation. Then we have managed compensation budget, workforce compensation. Within workforce compensation, we do have this managed compensation budget and administer workforce compensation. And then we have total compensation statement file. So if you see in this chart, we specify what are the things covered under compensation management. One is salary management, where we give salary to the employees, make changes to their salaries, etc. And next is individual award, that is like spot bonus and everything. And personal contribution, as I told you, like contributing for charity or anything, that can be done by the employee directly. Then we have compensation analysis and reporting. Then we have incentive compensation. This is not part of HCM again. Then we have total compensation statement and also workforce compensation. So mostly we will cover all the topics except the incentive compensation. So as I told you, these are the part of core HR configuration which are required for compensation management. Here if you see till positions, there is one more task which is required. This is grades. There is one more task along with grades, is grade rates. So if you see legal entity creation, legislative data group, model employment model selection, everything are part of core HR. The other things like elements and salary basis, though they are mainly used for compensation, but for core HR also, to hold the salary of an individual, we need to configure elements and salary basis. That is the reason we have this. Since in compensation also it is very much important, I will cover these two topics also separately for compensation.
Okay.
Before going to elements, let me get into the instance and show you the configuration of those core HRs. Though this is not part of compensation, but I thought since you are the only person, I thought I will just take you through that.
Okay.
So initially, to begin with, is niche enterprise HCM information. This is the first task. If you want, you can make note of that.
Okay.
Manage enterprise HCM information. This is the initial task for any HR configuration, core HR. Initially, when you get into the instance, you will have an instance given to you with one name. That is either, this won't be the name given to the enterprise, with an instance when it comes to you. This will be some other name, enterprise or some other name. There will be only enterprise as a name or something like that. So once you get an instance, a blank instance, you have to configure this one, where you will mention the name of the organization and whether it is active or not. And these are the other components which you cover in the core HR part. And this is end time, work time of the organization and all. If you want to capture, you can capture it. Else,
sorry, one question. What is the name of the task you said? And manage HCM?
Manage enterprise HCM information.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, this thing should not be changed. Once it is configured, it should be left as it is, because once you change these things again and again, the configuration, you won't be able to use it for other purpose, like hiring will be a problem and other issues will be a problem. Hence, this has to be configured before you configure legal entity or hire an employee, anything. So you change this thing, and this is the worker number generation. If you want, you can use it, else you can leave it blank. Worker number is completely different from person number. There are two concepts in this one, in Fusion. Like worker number, for each legal employer, it can be same or it can be different. It is based on the selection which you make here. Automatic generation using global sequence or legal employer sequence. If it is a global sequence, all the worker numbers will be unique. If it is going to be a legal employer, then for each legal employer it will be unique. But one number of a legal employer can be same as for one worker number of legal employer B. So that's the concept like that. Worker number.
So this is like a business group setup in EBIS.
No, not that. I didn't. No, this is not that. Business group is different thing. I will come to that. I will just come to that. This is worker number generation. Next is person number. Person number generation. Again, this is like whichever person you have in the Fusion gets a number. Either even a contact. For example, in benefits, if you want to add, if an employee adds a spouse or children, they will also have a person number generated. So everyone in the organization will have person number generated. So this can also be manual, or we can have formula or automatic. And if you want the this one person number to begin with, like from 10,000, then you can mention the initial number as 10,000. So that next number, which person whom you hire, his number will be 10,001. So this is the initial number setup which you want to do. You can make it here. So this is the first configuration in your instance which you make. After this, what you do is, if you want, you can go and create a division. Manage division is the task. So if an organization, this one is manage enterprise, covers the topmost node of the organization.
Okay.
And below that, if you want divisions to be created, manage divisions is the task. And it's nothing much great in that. Manage divisions. You will just create the name of the division and all. I'm just not creating it, I'm just going in what are the details it will ask for. Next is reporting name. If you want to have a manager to that organization, if you hired a person or something, you can just add a manager's name here, stating that he is the head of that particular division. So this is managed division. And the next task which I'll take is then we have managed legal address. Manage legal addresses. These are nothing but the legal address of the legal entities.
Okay.
So this is just simple. If you create, there's only one thing. You just capture the address of your particular office or the legal entity and mention the details. That's it.
So the information, sorry, for the information of the location, address line 123, that's a field setup, like, or is it?
Yes,
Because
these all, yeah.
yeah.
No, see, this is based on the country's layout. If I select any other country, let me see for India, it will change. There is a setup for this. Manage geographies is the setup for that. So for that you can change. For India, the setup changes.
Yeah.
You have the pin code coming up. So it is manage geographies is the setup where you can add. And also one more task is that manage address formats. So these are the two things where you can change the formats and everything. If you want, you can add the extra address line for that. This is for legal address. After that, the major thing is manage legislative data proof. This is something different to business group in eBiz. This is the thing that partitions country or payroll actually. So there's nothing in this. This is the only information which you will add up.
So what does it do?
I will tell you once again. See, this is mainly for partitioning of the payroll. This is the main reason. For example, what is it? For each country, there is one LDG created, mainly to differentiate the payroll for each. So this is the concept for business group also, right, in eBiz?
Yeah, I think it's called the consolidation set, for which they use it for payroll.
No, consolidation set is completely different. That is there in payroll and fusion also.
Okay.
But this is something you differentiate. For example, if I have to create a salary basis itself, you will be asked to mention the LDG for that.
Okay, yeah.
So that is there. I don't know the exact term how it is for eBiz.
It's been a while for me too.
Okay. So this is the LDG. This is the main thing that differentiates for all the country. Next aspect is manage legal entity. That is one of the major things in core HR. Here these are the informations which cover legal entity. That is, you give the name of the legal entity, identifier. Here is the legal address which you will add, which you already created the legal address, manage legal address. And next part is, this is the major thing here. Whether you want this particular legal entity which you created to be a PSU, payroll statutory unit, and also legal employer. Legal entity as such, the term is mainly used for financials. The legal entity which you create, if you mark it as legal employer, then it will be a part of HR. That is, the legal entity where you hire an employee is known as legal employer. And repeating it, legal entity as a concept is part of financials, but it is made, it is used in HR once you click it as a legal employer. That is, I can hire an employee into a legal entity only if it is a legal employer.
Okay.
And next thing is, if it is a PSU, then it will be able to pay the local taxes. It will be responsible, this particular legal entity will be responsible to pay the local taxes.
Okay.
So that is the two concepts here. So legal entity is a major object in this one, what is it, HCM configuration.
So what is this EIN or EIN?
These are the this one registration numbers.
For the
Normally
legal entity.
registration. Yes, it's a, I mean, it is like we have TAN number for India for companies, TAN and PAN number for the organization. So similarly for US, these are the numbers. Let me try for India. I think you will get the PAN number. I think for India, no, it's not coming. I don't think localization is there, so that's why it is not coming up. Normally, if you put for India, you will directly get the this one TAN number and everything. Actually, it has to be I mean, we have to go to one more task is there, manage duty streams, where you have to go and change it for India. For India, what are the documents or registration numbers you have to collect? If you mention it there, you will have the PAN and TIN number populated here.
So that step is before creating the legal entity.
Yes, that's before. Yes, that's before. But actually, it is not required. Normally, for organizations, they don't cover this aspect, manage jurisdictions. So once you create a legal entity for searching, normally if you say other task, if you want to search the task, you can directly go into the task and you will be able to search that particular legal entity or any other. For example, if you create even division, you can directly go into the tab. There will be a search option here. But for legal entity alone, we don't have this option available. So once you're created, if you want to go and have a look at the legal entity which you have created, then you have to go into a task unit and search legal entities. This most of them don't know this. Search legal entities. So the legal entity which I have created, this particular task is not known from any of them. So the legal entity which I already created, if you go here, you will be able to see it. This is how the legal entity looks like. So this is one task. And after you have created the legal entity, what happens is you have to link the legal entity with the LDG, Legislative Data Group. So the task name is Manage Legal Entity HCM Information. Manage Legal Entity HCM Information. So here what happens is you will search for the legal entity which you have created. You select the legal entity which you have created and you go and update, correct, sorry, not update, correct. Then for each legal entity you have to mention these details. If you see these details, we also saw it at enterprise level, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this values can be overwritten at legal employer level.
Okay.
So for example, if in the ultimate legal entity is nothing but the enterprise, if enterprise has a timing of 8 to 6 as start timing and end timing, but for an operation in Chennai or Bangalore, I will have a different timing. That can be mentioned. If it is enterprises at US level, US may have a timing of 8 to 5, whereas India may have a time of 9 to 9 to 8 or something like that, 9 to 6. So those way, legal employer is specific to that particular country or any particular region. So this thing
Okay.
can be overwritten at the legal employer level.
Okay.
Second, if you see the second tab, this is the tab where you link the legislative data group with the legal entity. If you see, this is the legislative data group which we created. I mean, for example, legislative data group. Until you link a legislative data group with the legal entity, you will not be able to hire an employee in the instance. Most of the time, people will configure everything. They miss out linking the legislative data group with the legal entity. So always, I mean, people get an error and it is not available. So they have to go again and they have to link it here. So this is the major aspect.
Yeah, it's quite easy to forget actually.
Yeah, that's right. So this is about manage legal entity XM information. Let's see. After legal entity, then we can go on for creating business units. Manage business unit. Instance. So this is manage business unit where you create the business unit. This business unit creation is mainly for reporting purpose. This is almost similar to the concept which you have in eBiz. You have eBiz also in, I mean, you have business unit also in eBiz, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a similar concept. Create the business unit, you have, but you won't have the set assignment at all, right? I mean, set IDs.
No. I think this is
Okay.
from PeopleSoft, I guess.
Yes,
Set ID
set
concept.
ID concept is from PeopleSoft. Okay.
Yeah.
What you can do is when you're creating a business unit, you just name the business unit and as a default set, just give it as common set. I'll show you. I'll tell you what is common set, another thing.
Yeah, this is where I got confused. I was doing this and I was like, what is this common set? So I got confused there and I stopped that.
Okay, no problem. I will just brief you about it. When you create a business unit at the initial stage, just mention it as common set. I'll tell you what is the reason behind that. Once you created business unit, then you will get into creating reference data set. You have concept of manage reference data set. So here, and this is complete a concept of core HR, that's why I don't have presentation regarding this. Each task is covered in this one, I mean each activity. So after we are under business unit, before that we have legal entity, everything. After business unit there is reference data sets which are not marked here, but you can make a note of it. If you see, this is the only task. You will give a code, AV01, and give a set name, just a description. Make a note of it. There are 4 set enabled objects. One is location, then we have grade, job, and department.
are the 4
set enabled objects. Yeah. This is a part of question also in certification exam for core HR. That is location, job, department, and grade.
What exactly are they?
These all are fusion objects. Fusion objects, I will tell you what it is, why it is used mainly. So for example, if I created a set code with as AV001, I wanted to give it to a location, US location. This is just an example. Save and close, AV001. So what happens is, I have created this for a particular location. Now, further this concept. Now, I will tell you what are the other things which we have to create. Next, it is department. Manage department. That is one task where you create the departments for your organization. So again, if you go into department and see, you have again as something as give the department set. The reference data set which I created, that is AP. Sorry, that was location.
The code, right?
Yeah. Yes. So if I give it to this particular department, there's just an example which I'm giving. So consider this as EPC department, making it active. These are the other details which are required for department. Manager name will be required in other aspects. Just leave it blank. Save, save. Now I have created this department. Okay. There's one more task named as manage business unit set assignment. If you see, this is the task is manage business unit set assignment. Okay. See, this is one more major aspect which I have to tell you regarding this. If you're creating this set assignment, you have to create it only within the implementation project. Only then it will work. Else it won't work.
So you have to go.
So that is one more. Yes.
So it's like if you have to go through the standard tree.
Yes. You have to go only to through the implementation project. Until that your set assignment won't be working.
Is that a bug?
Not bug. I don't know. I mean whether it is bug or they specifically want us to use the implementation project. So if you go in this one, manage business unit set assignment, it will ask you to select the business unit for which you want to do that. Did we create any business unit? No, right?
No.
No problem. Let's see. Let me select one business unit. Select one business unit, there will be save and close. Don't click on that, just select it. It will take you to the manage business unit set assignment task. These are the set assignment tasks which are available. For HR, as I told, we have create, job, location and departments. So what happens is, when I created my business unit, it was common, correct? I use common set. If I
Yeah.
want my particular department to only be visible for this particular view, then I will give the particular set which I created. Did you get
Okay.
that? So if I put it like this, so what happens is when I select this particular business unit, so the departments which I created on this under this set, only those sets will be available for this particular business unit.
Okay.
Because when you hire an employee, first page it will ask for legal employer, whereas in the third page it will ask you to enter the business unit, which are mandatory things. So once I select a particular business unit, then I will be able to see the departments which has been created under this particular set.
So this is actually a filter.
Exactly, correct.
Okay.
So mainly it is used for security purpose.
Hmm.
So for example, another example I can give you is like one HR specialist who is available in US can only see the people or hire people under the location US.
Yes.
So I can have a set ID created here for US and put it for all the locations which comes under US. So only those particular locations will be available. If it is mentioned it as common, then all the locations created under the common set will be available for the HR specialist to select. That's the main aspect of the set assignment, set ID and set assignment.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
But you want me to repeat it?
Give me a second. Let me note it down.
Sure.
I'm writing it.
Do make note of this one. This is the main thing. Like until you use the implementation project, you won't be able to use this business unit set assignment. So best practice will be to have all the implementation done under implementation project itself.
Yeah.
So that is thing about set assignment. And after that, you have other tasks like creating locations. Manage location is one task. Manage locations. You will create locations for business units or department, which wherever they ask for. If you get into it, you cannot delete a location once you create. You can only end it. Okay, this is also a part of question in the certification exam. So for location again,
the location. So if we go by the sequence of steps, the location is actually created before the legal address is created.
Not legal addresses. Legal address is different, location is different. In Fusion, legal address is only for legal aspect for legal entities.
Okay.
If any particular legal entity is not statutorily bound or nothing, then it is, we don't have to create a, the legal entity is mainly connected to legal address, whereas location is connected with, what is it called, departments or business units, etc. So both are completely different.
So the location should be created before the business unit is created.
Correct. So the location, you can add images for a location.
Oh.
So you can add an image for that particular location.
Interesting.
And again, this one is set enabled. It can only be inactive. You can only make it inactive. You cannot delete a location once it is created.
Mm.
So the address for the location is mentioned here, the main address, and the shipping aspect and other these things are part of procurement. It's not
Yeah,
related to
it's also standard in EBS.
US, yeah. Then after this, after location, department location, then you will go ahead creating jobs and positions. Jobs and positions are similar to the concept of EBS. You can go ahead with only job. If you want to have position, you can have it. Position is not a mandatory. So you have a job name. Let's enter the details for the job, like full-time or regular. So job family is one more task, manage job families, where you can create the job family and then add the job family here for this job. So actually before job, you can create job family, which is
So it's
not
like
mandatory.
grouping them.
Exactly.
Okay.
But there is one more concept for grouping them again, management level, and also job functions are available. This job function and management level are lookup values, where a job family is a task as such.
Okay.
Again, before job I missed out is grade. Grade has to be created before job. The reason is you will be linking a grade to a job. Even after job you can create it, and after coming in you can just add a grade to that particular job. So that's there. So after that, this is the evaluation criteria. One more thing I will just let you know here. Here I think this job code number is a DFF. If you want to highlight the DFF in a particular page, you can just go to this particular link below the name and just click highlight flex fields. So once you click the highlight flex field, I don't think it's working here. Normally if you just go and click this highlight flex field task, then what happens is whichever is this one flex field DFF, you will have an icon with I symbol, which mentions that it is a flex field.
Okay.
I don't think it's not coming up here. Let's see for some other page. This is the detail, and this is about the evaluation criteria. You can have A system is the default system. You can use the evaluation criteria for job. Most of the company doesn't use this.
Yeah, I've never
Then
seen
again,
anyone
this is
using it.
yeah. So this is the profile. Remember which the profile management which we use. This will be used here to create the job profile.
Okay.
See, these are the work structure that are required. So you can just add the details here. I mean, if the traveling is required for the job and all, you have to go to the profile management. Under that profile option, remember the profile types, manage profile types, where we get into that and select the person profile or job profile or
Yeah.
position profile. Job profile, you have to go and activate the profile type, the content items or content type which you want to display it here. So once it displays, you will be able to capture information about the job, everything here.
Okay.
So that is the reason we have this option. And next you review it, just submit it. That is how you create job. Position I'm not getting into it. It is similar to job, but you have to attach department, jobs, everything.
Yeah, I think it's similar to EBS.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Next concept I will take you is grade. This is where which we have the compensation also linked here. So let's see. So if you see, there are three aspects in grade. One is manage grades, manage grade rates, and manage grade ladder. I'll take you one by one. Have SN grade. See, if these are grade steps, did you have this grade step and grade ladder in this one, EBIS?
Yes, we did have.
Okay, then I don't have to explain about this. See, the issue with right now is in the instances, once I create a grade and again try to add a grade rate for that particular grade, I will have an error. I don't know why it is coming up. It results in an error. So what we do is we create the grade. That's it. Go and give save and submit for that. And again we come back to grade rates. Again we come to the grade rates task. You also had grade ladder, right? In EBIS? You had?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not going through that. So next is grade rates. Here what we will do is, when we create the grade rate, it will ask for the legislative data group. The thing is, I can have a grade for full organization. For example, one grade as manager will be available for entire organization. But for India, the rate for that particular grade will be different. For US, it will be different. So that's the reason we have the LDG to be selected for grade rate.
Okay.
So if it is US LDG, then I have to give a rate name, grade rate name. Then I will be asked to give the value for the grade which I created previously. Let's search for grade. So for grade rate, you can either give it as a range or you can give a single value. If I put it as even the frequency which you want, you can select it, whatever you want to mention as annually, hourly, anything, you can select it here. Again, the rate type concept, these are the three default ones: bonus, overtime, and salary. So give it as 60,000, 20,000. So the midpoint will be automatically calculated. If you want to have as a single value, you can mention it here. The other three columns will be blank. Now this which you have created only for US. If you want to create it for UK, again you have to come back and again select the LDGS UK and create this range.
Okay.
So this is how you create the entire structure for core HR. So
can you just show me once? Sorry, can you just show me how the grade ladder looks like here in Fusion?
Okay. Grade ladder is mainly used for progression, showing up the progression.
Yeah.
For an employee. So this is how it looks. How we created. This grade which I created was a grade without any steps, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. So if you want, it will ask for whether it is a grade with step or only grade. Let's select only grade. Go next. Here it will ask me to add the grades.
Okay.
I'll just add it. So if I have any other grades associated with, if I created, then after this grade, which is the next grade, which is not. So it will show the hierarchy of the grade.
Okay.
So which you will be able to add it and give it us. The next. Yeah, again, I missed this out. In this particular page, is going on. If you have created steps, grade steps in your previous when you are creating a grade, for grade, each grade you will be able to get the range value. Okay. Whereas for steps, you won't be able to give value in manage grade rates. So you have to come back here. Only here you will be, that is in grade ladder, you will be able to give value for the same grade which you are creating.
Yeah.
For the grade ladders, for grade steps, grade steps. The value you can give it only here, whereas for grades you can give it in manage grade rates.
Yeah.
So,
So I saw that you left the common set factor for grades. That's because I remember we did not create any different data set for grades. You just created one.
Exactly. So mostly for the training purpose, we normally use it as common set. And it is only for that particular, when you get experience, then when you work out, if you want that particular grade only appear to that particular business unit, then you can use that reference set to work it out. So we have completed all the core HR concept right now. Okay. Now we are getting into elements part. So what are these elements? Major, they are part of the payroll part, element concept. So I'm just briefing the concepts here, the elements. Elements are building blocks that help determine the payment or distribution of base pay, other compensation or deductions. For compensation, you can define earning and deduction elements such as salary, bonuses, allowances, and voluntary deduction. So these are the examples for using the compensation elements. by using the elements for composition. And this is the screen which how it looks for elements. I'll just take the demo so you will be able to understand how it will look like. So what are the parts available in elements? One is classification. It is similar to EBIS concept, where we have primary classification, secondary classification and all. Then we have the input value to be defined for that particular element which you are creating. And then we have the concept of eligibility. It is nothing but it is also known as element link, which is part of EBIS. We also have predefined elements which are available in Fusion, which are used for taxation elements. I mean, certain elements are there. For example, if you create from primary classification a regular and standard for secondary classification, certain elements are automatically created in the system once you create a major element for them.
Yeah.
So that is based on the localization. The other elements are automatically created.
Okay.
So just take you through that, how it is created. This is the aspect of input value and element entries. It is, I mean, the part of concept of payroll in Fusion is similar to EBIS. There's no difference between EBIS and this one, Fusion.
Okay.
And the only thing is the, navigations and the screen will be different, that's it. Whereas the concept is literally same. Whereas in core HR, it is similar to PeopleSoft. So if you see the element entry part, same as EBIS, you can have a default value, or you can enter the value element entry into it manually, or you can use task formulas to have a value into the element. So this is what to discover. So let's see how to configure element. So when you're creating a core HR, this is also a main part. You also have to create an element for that. So I have already created an element. See that. Always for element, to search element, you have to always give the LDG, else you won't be able to get that. For which to be created. Yes. Created an element, but I don't know for which LTG I created it. Yeah, this is what I created. SA salary. See, I'm just not going, getting into these details. If you see the other elements, the social security, employee tax, these are the elements which are already available in the instance.
So the predefined elements.
Yes, predefined elements. You won't be able to delete this also.
I can see from the start date, it says 0001.
Yeah, that you can define whatever you want. Start date can be changed, that's not an issue. But these elements are all created as a predefined one. So if I get into this is the element which I created. If you see, this is the detail of the element. You have the element name available. So all the aspects, when you create a new element, you will get the full information how it is created. Then you have the input value available for the particular element, which I gave it as amount. So this is the input value. You can also select whether you want it to be displayed or not to be displayed. Allow user to enter that, whether you want that in the particular input value to be required, mandatory one to be mentioned, etc. Creating a database item, it is used mainly for fast formula.
Yeah.
And next is element eligibility. You have to always have an open link so that the element can be used wherever you want. Open link is nothing but open to all the employees or all this thing. There is no restriction for this particular element. You have to give a name for that. And if you want to have an eligibility criteria, you can just select the legal employer for whom you want this to be mentioned, department, job or grade, or location or position. These are the eligibility criteria which is available, which you can use. You can use fast formulas for validation, calculation, and also defaulting formula is also available for this.
Okay.
And here in input value, you also have an option, default values there. If you want to have a default value to be appearing for all the elements which is assigned to an employee for this particular element, so that value you can mention it here, so that this value will be available for those employees for whom this element is given.
Yeah.
So that option is also there. So let's see how we create an element. So once you create an element, first thing is LDG. It is LDG specific, similar to grades. So you have to select the particular LDG for which you want to create this particular grade. What is the primary classification? These are the primary classifications available. Mostly for compensation, it is regular, standard earnings for compensation, or information element. Information primary classification. These are the two things mainly used for compensation. So I'm selecting standard earning. Secondary classification is not mandatory, mainly for compensation. This is mainly for getting the this one, what to say, for payroll purpose.
Yeah.
If you select regular or any other thing, based on this classification which you select, the other elements are associated with this element which I created. So I'm leaving it blank. Continue. To say this is the name where you have to enter. I'm going to change the effective date. So this input currency comes automatically based on the LDG which you select. If it is UK, it will be GBP. So that is default. And these are the information which you have to capture for your element. Should every person eligible for this element automatically receive it, or you want to specifically give it to individual? So it is on default, it is no. And next is, what is the earliest entry date for this particular element? These are similar to eBus.
Yeah.
These are all things which are available in eBus. This is the thing which is applicable for Fusion. I don't think this is also available in eBus. Whether you want to give it at assignment level, whether it is recurring or non-recurring. So these aspects are there. Keep it as a default. Normally for compensation, we don't change anything here. And this screen shows the comparison between, next screen, sorry. This covers information. Next, review screen gives the comparison between the default option and the option which you have selected. So you can just compare it and decide whether you want to go ahead. Once you give submit, it will take some time to get submitted. Here, you have to see here, this is the element which is created as per your input. So how do you create your input value? You select this input value here, go to actions, create input value. This is how the input value has to be created. So putting it as amount, sequence 1, unit of measurement, you can select it here. Since it is the amount, we will give it as money. I want it to be displayed, allow the user to enter it. I'm not giving it as required one, I will just give it as created database item for this. And default value, if I want to give, I can just mention it here. I'll just save and submit it. My input value is created. If I want to see the input value to be displayed, I won't get it right now. You just click it here. Then you will have the input value created coming up here. Next, this element entry eligibility has to be created, else you won't be able to see the element wherever you want it to be displayed. I'll just give it as the same name, self element eligibility. I'm not restricting it to any of these condition eligibility criteria. I'm just making it as an open link. So this is done. Now we have created the element. Now let's see other concepts which are available. Any doubts till now?
No, Sanjay, it's clear.
Okay. Next thing is define and manage base pay. So this is the compensation model. Here you will have define base pay as a task. Under this, you have these are the task lists which are available under define base pay. So here, if you see the grade rates, it is also available in core HR and also available in this one in compensation. Main aspect of this grade rate is just to give the guideline so that the manager or the person who is giving this salary can restrict the amount based on the range.
Okay.
This is how the grade rate looks like, which you already seen that, and this is what I was telling about. They typically serve only as a guideline to validate that the salary you propose during the compensation process for a worker of certain grade is appropriate to his grade. So that is the main aspect for grade rate.
Yeah.
Next, salary and salary basis. Salary is a generic term that corresponds to a worker's base pay and is further defined by a worker's salary basis. What is salary basis? Each worker is assigned a salary basis which defines characteristics of a person's base pay. You must have one for every salary record, regardless of whether the salary is stored in assignment or in the employment term level. Okay, we will see this further. So this is how it is linked. It is similar to EBIS itself, but the concepts of the terms are different here. Like example is LDG. Once you create a salary basis, you will link salary basis with the LDG. You have to mention LDG for that salary basis, which is coming through element which you created right now. Again, the element will also have the element currency coming up with them. And then in the salary basis, you have the concept of frequency, where you will select the annualization factors, and also in the frequency you will select whether it is yearly, monthly or hourly and all. And then we have salary components also available in salary basis. So these all aspects go in for as a salary input. So if you see the salary component comes and gets into as a salary, and it also going to annualize salary. Whereas in the grade range which you have selected, the grade rate which you have selected will be used in identifying the midpoint, minimum grade or maximum grade to be given for the particular employee. So these all aspects are involved in processing the payroll. These things are main, as I told you, even the salary basis is also a part of core HR. Because unless you have the salary basis configured, you won't be able to have the salary mentioned for employees.
Correct.
So if you see, these are the concepts which I covered in the previous slide. You have LDG defined there, and we have the payroll element which will be defined in salary basis, which will consist of the input value which we have to select in the salary basis. Then we have the frequency defined. Then we have the salary components to be selected, annualization factor, etc. You see the screen, you have the name for the salary basis. Then we have frequency, annualization factor. This you will know, but just take you through the configuration.
Yeah.
See, what is LDG? As I described, how is it used in a salary basis? Legislative data groups are country-specific or legal payroll data partitions. Typically, there is one LDG per country, but you can have more. You can have more, but as a best practice, it is informed to have only one LDG per country.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Just to simplify.
Mainly it is used for, yes, exactly. It is same as even in business group, right? In this
Yes.
one. Correct. So, I mean, many of them get confused about the comparison between LDG and business group. They feel that the legal entity is similar to business group or even enterprise as business group. Whereas actually it is only the LDG which is similar to business group in US.
Yeah.
Restriction: you cannot share salary basis across LDG. One LDG is specific to one particular LDG. Sorry, one specific salary basis is limited to one LDG, and the payroll element choice list is dynamically generated based on the LDG that you select. Next, about the elements. I'll just go through this. For each salary basis, select a single existing payroll element to hold base pay earnings. You can associate only recurring elements classified as earning or information. See, that's what I told you about. Defined as at the assignment or employment term level, and the same legislative data group defined with element eligibility, and with automatic entry not selected for both the element and its eligibility. You must select one input value for the element from the list of valid values, either amount or rate. See, normally when you have this salary basis created, for input value amount, you will use it for salaried employees, and you will use input value rate for hourly employees. Yes. Then this one is pay frequency and annualization factor. In this one we have concept like whether it is hourly, whether you can have it monthly or annually. If you're using payroll in this Fusion instance, it is better to have the salary basis pay frequency as payroll period. Else there will be an issue when we are running the payroll. So that is one important thing. Annualization factors is the multiplication factor used to convert the base pay as at the set frequency to an annualization amount. Just to calculate it, for example, if it is monthly, the annualization factor will be 12. If it is annually, it is 1.
Yeah.
The amount which I give, if I multiply with that particular annualization factor, I will get the yearly amount. So that is the main reason for giving annualization factor. These are salary components. You can set up the salary basis to include change reasons that enable itemization of salary and salary adjustments by entering amounts or percentages for one or more of these components. So the components which are available are the seeded ones. If you want to add or remove, you have to go to the lookup type CMP underscore salary underscore components. Here you can go and remove these components or add new components also in this one.
So where is this used again? Sorry?
This I will let you know once I get into the instance.
Sorry, Sanjay, I can't hear you. You're speaking.
No, I didn't. Just coming in.
Oh, you put it on mute.
So this is the task where we create, rather than task, let me tell you the task list. Define base pay. Define base pay. In this we have these are tasks which are available. Here you can go and create the element. Here you can go and create the grade rate, and this is the salary basis. Go here. This is how you create a salary basis. I'm just going frequency, and I can have it as monthly, hourly, or annually. I'm just putting it as annually. So if you see, for annually, the annualization factor is automatically selected. Even for monthly, if you want, it will be automatically selected. But for hourly, based on your client requirement, you have to mention it. Mostly it is 2080 normally for the client this thing requirement. So if I'm selecting it annually, then this, if you see, the LDG is a mandatory one. So the LDG, the base salary basis which you create is specific to one particular LDG. So that is the reason we cannot use the same salary basis for different countries. Again, the payroll element which you created, you will be selecting it here.
The second one.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a salary element.
Second one. Okay. Again, the input value which you have created there, you will be getting it here. So as an element concept, the input value is, you can have any number of input value when you are creating an element. So here again, for that particular create, you can select the create rate. So this is the component option which is available. Yeah, this is the components which you select. So for example, let's say I'm selecting the user selects components, so display selected components. So these are the components which are available. If I want all the components to be available for a salary, what happens is when I select the salary basis for an employee, when I'm giving it, I will have all these components coming up for the salary. So for each component I can give value. I mean, normally it is like equity, cost of living, or the salary, market, and everything. I can select these options, and if I give OK, so what happens is these components will be available for display when I am giving a salary for an employee.
Okay.
It is nothing but different salary components. That's it. So for example, if you see cost of living, I can give $1,000 as a cost of living, $100 as a structure, etc. So that is the main aspect of using these components. If you don't want, you can just make it here, leave it here. You don't want to use components. If you want the user to select the component, so what happens is all the components will be available on the screen. So whichever he wants to enter the value, he can enter. Or you can display the selected components alone. So let's have all the components as of now. Let's see how it looks like. So that's it. This is how you create the component. I mean salary basis. So salary basis is created. Okay. Now let me Can we have a break for 15 minutes, Prashant?
Yeah, I was just about to ask. Okay. It's about lunch time for me too, so.
Oh, it's lunch, is it?
Half an hour is also fine, actually.
Okay, take half an hour. No problem. Take around 40 minutes. And questions are done.
Yes, Prashant.
Hi, Prashant. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Sorry. Yeah, Prashant. See, I'm just taking you through the employee screen.
Okay.
Remember I told you about the flex fields?
Highlighting the flex fields.
Yes. See.
Okay.
These are the descriptive flex fields which are available. So if you want to know what is the flex field name or something, you just have to hover this mouse over this icon. We will be able to see all the details. Flex field pole, flex field name, everything. So in manage descriptive flex field task, if you go in there, you can just search these items. So you will be able to see the descriptive field, and if you want to add or remove anything, you can just go there and do that. I mean, it seems in core HR it has been hectic. If you see, there is a lot of flex fields come up. I mean, somebody's created these things and all. So that's why it's here. Okay. See, after the session, I would request you to. I will try to finish up the session early today. I want you to create grade and also create rates. Or if you want, you can just create it in the link SN grades itself. Okay. SN grades, and link the grade rates to the grade and create a job, link that grade to that particular job, and let's try to hire one manager and employee for that.
Okay.
Got it? So that we can work out the compensation for this. Repeating it, this one will be, if you want to learn, you can also hire, create legal entity, business unit, departments, those tasks which I mentioned, right? except the enterprise one. You can just create it with different name so that we can practice it here. Just create it with any initial, SN or any other initial, whichever you prefer. Legal entity, then business unit, department, grade, rate, job, and and hire one employee and one manager for that. And you can also have this one, what to say, you can also create the element and also salary basis for that. So that what you can do is, I will tell you where do you have to add this salary basis. It will be in this one, employment information. Just go down. Here you will mention all the job details and everything. Just come down. Here you will have the salary information. Here you will select it here and add the salary basis which you created. This is the salary basis which we created, SNBSP. So that you can create it. Just add it, give any amount. So if you see, if I select this SN salary basis,
payroll is not included.
yeah. No, payroll details is not required. That is related to payroll, so you don't have to do that.
Okay.
So this is related to payroll. You just come to salary information. Since I selected the SN salary basis, if you see the structure component which we selected yes, so everything is coming up. So rather, if you are not selected any salary component, this would be blank, and you can directly enter the value in the salary amount. Since you already selected the salary component, you have to give the values here.
Okay.
So whatever value you give, it will be added up, and here it will it will be coming up as the total amount as a salary.
Okay.
So that is the reason. And another thing here, this is the salary range. Since we already created the grade rate and attached it with the salary basis, you will be getting this range popping up. If you didn't attach any salary, grade rates to salary basis, you won't get this picture coming up. Okay,
Why is the grade name showing up here? Grade range is seen.
I didn't get you, come again.
On the screen, on the right side of the graph, there is grade name.
Yeah, because that is what I mean. I didn't create a grade. That is the problem. I have to attach the grade to the grade rate, but I don't think I have created any grade.
Okay.
That is the main reason. Even for this employee, I didn't add any grade here. If you see here, I didn't attach any grade and all. So that is the reason it is not coming up.
Okay.
Okay. So once you create it, you will be able to see the exact details here. Everything. So just create it. And another thing here in the hiring page itself, and this is tomorrow's session anyhow. Here about compensation is there. Once you have the individual compensation configured, you will be able to give any joining bonus or anything for employee.
Okay.
Okay. So here is the plan where you will be selecting the individual plan, and this is the option which are available for individual plan. Once you select it, you can have the messages already configured for this. Then that way you will be able to give joining bonus or anything for this employee details.
Okay.
So this is kind of spot bonus and all. So this is for the hiring page. Apart from that, so I just want you to complete this aspect. If you are not able to do that, just let me know. I will work out for that. Okay?
What is the login details?
Same, Akshay, welcome one.
A capital or?
No, that's not case sensitive. AKSHAY, W capital.
Okay.
Password is welcome one, W is caps. So that's something. And if you're not able to do anything, you can just send me a mail. I'll just have a look at it and configure it. Not a problem. Okay?
Okay.
This is one thing.
So, sorry. So, do I take any implementation project?
Yeah, create it. It's better to have it in that way.
Or can I use the one which
Create
I have in the past?
implementation project. Yes, you can add it. The only thing you have to do is, I'll tell you. I'll just configure it here for you. I'll just add the compensation parts here. What was the project name? Number?
1810. 1810 PR.
Okay. I think it's 1810 number. Yeah, it's there. It's not yours, it's not here.
So where do I start here, sir?
Which one? For which one?
Once I log in, what page do I go? Because I can't find the page here. I have to be.
Once you log in, you'll come here, go to setup and maintenance.
Yeah, I found it.
You can use this one. Sorry, I was using the other one. Sorry. You can go through navigator, go to setup and maintenance. Yeah, 18, let's see.
I found it.
So 1810 and 1810 you are getting it?
Yeah, I found the
This one, right? Talent management. I'm having the same name, okay? I'm not changing it. Let it be like that. See how to add the other modules. Just click the add button. Search for compensation management. Click it, apply, and done. So you'll have all this thing. Base pay. This is for salary basis element, and also for grade rates. And this is the common configuration. You can configure all the HR aspects. That go to define enterprise structure. I'm going slow. 1 second. It is define common application configuration for compensation management. Go into that. Get into define enterprise structure for human capital management. That you will have define workforce structures. And define workforce structures. You have different organization structure. Here you will be able to create department and all, department locations, whatever it is. These things you can create, department, divisions, locations, actions and record. If you want to create grade, you can create it here. Positions, you can create it here. Jobs and positions.
Where do I create the legal entity?
Jobs. I will let you know. It is just above that, above this workforce structure, you have legal entities for HCM, which is this. You have legal entity to be created, and this is one more aspect, business unit. Business unit where you can create a business unit. Everything you can have it as common set. Okay?
Yeah.
So we are able to make it clearly. We don't have any issue. So here is how you will create it. So this
If I have to follow these steps that you mentioned, I have to.
yes.
We have done the enterprise, I don't touch the enterprise. So
Yes.
legal address.
Yes. Legal entity.
No, do I create legal address, legislative data?
Yeah, you create it. You create it. You will be able to learn it.
Okay.
Don't create any. If you want, you can create this one also. what to say, LDG, legislative data group, or you can use the existing one, no problem, anything will be fine.
Okay.
Just make a note on an Excel sheet so that you don't forget this, so that if we have any problem further, we can just use that to work it out. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. And this is the individual compensation part. I'll just brief you tomorrow what all it will be.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll come here into workforce compensation. So main part in workforce compensation is managed compensation plan. This is what we will be using. Before getting into the individual compensation or workforce compensation, we will also run through what are the roles available for accessing the compensation model.
Okay.
So it is mainly compensation manager, compensation administrator, and then we have to, line managers and employee, and also HR specialists. So what are those people who can do? So before that, I will just take you through the presentation now. So what are the things each individual or each role can handle? See, after we have created the line manager, the salary basis and everything, after we have hired an employee with the salary basis and everything. So as a line manager, when line manager gets into the system, he will have a task name, link name, manager resources dashboard. If he clicks and goes into this tab, compensation tab,
Mm-hmm.
he will be able to see the individuals, their currency and everything. He will be able to see all the details of his subordinates as a line manager. If you come further down, these are the roles or activities for line manager and HR specialist. If an individual has this role, line manager or HR specialist role, they can also get into the person gallery, go to the compensation, this one card, portrait card. If they go and click into that, they will be able to see the entire information about the salary of an individual. Apart from that, if you see in the left hand side, there is an action, correct?
Yeah.
On the below. Here you will have the second task as manage salary. If he clicks there, he can go and change the salary, update the salary, or do any other thing for an employee. This is as a role of line manager, or even as a HR specialist, they will be able to do that.
Okay.
Next, again, as a HR specialist, one more place is there. You can go to navigator, go to the person management, search a particular employee there, and come and click that particular employee. Then he will be getting into this particular page. Once he gets into this page, he'll be able to click. If you see, there's a name, there's a task name, manage salary,
Okay.
under compensation. So if the employee, if the HR specialist clicks this manage salary under compensation, then he will be able to view all the information where the histories are also maintained for the employee. So this way, even if you see below, he will be able to change the salary for employee.
Okay.
So this is for HR specialist. These navigations are in the front end. When you get in after the configuration and everything, you will be able to use this.
Okay.
Then next, this is as a compensation manager. When you start using compensation as a module, it is not the FSM or the function setup manager where you will be doing all the configuration for the plan and all. Normally you will come to this page. In navigator toolbar, you will be having a link as compensation. So navigator, if you keep the compensation link, you will directly come into this page. If you see here, you will have manage salary basis. The manage salary basis, the configuration which you did, the compensation manager can directly do it in this particular page. This page is known as compensation work area. So compensation work area is available only for two roles. One is compensation manager and compensation administrator. So they can directly come into this page. They can do manage salary basis. They can also change the salary for individual and everything. They can export salary. And there is other task available like they can directly configure individual compensation. If you see the fourth task on the left side, individual compensation, they can create a compensation and then they can allocate it. They can also create the complete workforce compensation also. That is the second task which is available. You can also proxy as a manager, and these things you will learn when you get into further this configuration and now. Okay. Any doubts till now, Prashant?
No, none so far.
Okay.
Maybe while
so what to
doing
do?
this,
Yeah, tell me.
maybe while doing the setup, I'll come up with some questions, but
Sure.
now,
No problem. You can just mail me. I will just help you out. No problem.
yeah.
Okay. So I'm winding up the session today.
Yeah.
Okay. We can use this available time to complete the configuration. If you're facing any problem, you can just ping me. I will help you out with that. Okay. So tomorrow we will cover the individual compensation and everything. And if you have any doubts related to today's session, just let me know.
Yeah. Tomorrow can we start a little like today we started around 5 o'clock.
5. Yeah.
Start around 5:30 because I play badminton league matches here. I play the Dutch league.
Oh.
So we are playing another team from outside, so I have to drive and come back. So.
Okay. So at what time do you want
We
to start?
have 5 minutes. Just want to change.
5:30 is okay? 5:30 is okay?
5:30 should be fine.
Okay, then no problem. We can start at 5:30 then. No issue.
Yeah.
Okay? Fine. Thank you.
Yeah. Have a nice evening. If I have questions, as I said, I'll email you.
Please. No problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, by the way, can you send me the link for the PDF?
Sure, I will send it right now. I will send it to you. Thank you. Take care.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.